What's up, guys? Nito here, and I wanted to show off the build I've been playing in Badger's private league. If you don't know who Badger is, he is another YouTuber and Twitch streamer, and he has organized a pretty awesome private league where you are placed on a team with about 300 other people, and you and your team organize and work together to complete certain goals. And it's a lot of fun. And for this league, I have been playing a Animate Weapon Golementalist. So the idea here is we are using Liege of the Primordial and Elemancer in the Elementalist Ascendancy to stack up a ton of Golem buff effect. So you get 25% buff effect per Golem from both of these nodes, so that's 50% per Golem, and then you also get +2 maximum number of Golems here. And you get another +1 max Golem from Golem Commander, and another 2 from the Anima Stone. And then I'm also using Primordial Eminence, which allows you to get the extra +1 Golem from Anima Stone. And it also has 30% increased effective buffs granted by your golems on it. So we have 3 of these on the tree. And lastly, we have some large cluster jewels with the Primordial Bond node, which is another 40% buff effect. So all in all, we have something like 460% increased buff effect on this build. So why do you need all that buff effect? Well, if you take a look at Carrion Golem, you'll see that it grants 40 to 60 additional physical damage for non-golem minions. So that's a ton of additional physical damage, and that's getting scaled by that 460% buff effect. So all in all, it's over 200 to 300 added flat physical damage to all of our non-golem minions. And in this case, that is our Animate Weapons. So the other thing that's really key is Animate Weapon has a physical tag on it. It is one of the few non-golem minions with a physical tag. So if you see, Carrion Golem also has the physical tag, as does Stone Golem. So because of that, we can scale the level of our Animate Weapon with stuff like Cold Iron Point, which has +3 to level of all physical skill gems. So that's scaling both the buff effect from our Carrion Golems, as well as our Stone Golems, and the actual Animate Weapon itself. And Animate Weapon is getting extra flat added physical damage from spell levels. And because we're using Lingering Blades, we're getting additional flat physical on all of our blades as well. Plus, we have increased the maximum number of animated weapons to 18. That can go even higher. If I get 1 extra level, that goes up to 19. So currently I have a +2 helmet, and that can be a +3 helmet if you get an I-86 Elder base. I could make a +3 helmet here, or I could get another +1 from my amulet or from my scepter if I really wanted to craft those further. Again, this was in a private league, so not everything was available. I'm not going to have absolutely perfect gear, but I am pretty happy with how my gear turned out after this one week league. It's been a lot of fun, and basically the idea is Animate Weapon just gets all of this flat physical damage, and you get a ton of weapons, and then we're doing pure physical damage. So it's an Impale build. We're using Impale support. We're using Multi-Strike and Brutality. And then on our chest, Victario's Influence gives us a bunch of reduced mana reservation for anything socketed in here. And so I'm just running stuff like Dread Banner, which again is giving Impale to our minions. And then Flesh and Stone, Arctic Armor, Pride, and Haste. So it's pure fizz on the minions, even though we're an Elementalist, which is kind of cool. Our Elementalist Ascendancy is also giving us Bastion of Elements for the roughly 3,000 HP shield against elemental damage. Against physical damage, we're using Carrion Chaos Golem, which grants 4% additional physical damage reduction. And then again, that's all getting scaled by that massive Golem buff effect. And we also have Lightning Golem for the cast speed, because unfortunately Animate Weapon needs to be resummoned in every single zone you go into. So you're summoning 18 weapons at the beginning of every zone and just continually throughout any zone. So it's not the greatest playstyle, honestly. It did get kind of annoying at times. If you want, you can use something like Unleash with your Animate Weapon so that you can get to max weapons quicker and more consistently, but unfortunately Unleash does have a less damage multiplier on there. and you're obviously replacing one of your other support gems for it, so it's just less damage overall. But like the weapons do last for about a minute, so they have a fairly long duration. So you don't have to like constantly resummon, but you do need to resummon every once in a while. So it's not quite as passive of a minion playstyle as some of the other minion builds out there, like a Spectre build would be. And then for our last node, we have Shaper of Storms here, which gives all damage with hits can shock, and your hits always shock. And they always shock for a minimum of 15%. So obviously with Cold Iron Point, you deal no elemental damage, so like we're not doing any lightning damage or anything, so we can't shock normally. But we are using Blade Fall, and Blade Fall is going to both allow us to summon our minions. So if you see here, we drop a bunch of blades. There's a bunch of blades in the ground here. Those blades are what become our animated weapons. So now you can see I have a bunch of weapons floating around here. And so that serves double duty, because whenever the blade fall hits the enemy, it also shocks them, which is a nice extra bonus damage. Alternatively, you can also go for Shaper of Winter, and if you can get a helmet that is both Shaper and Elder influenced, you can get Hypothermia on your helmet, and you get another support gem on your main setup with your animate weapons, and you're guaranteed to get the chill from Shaper of Winter, which supports your hypothermia there. So that's another option if you wanted to go that route. And then, yeah, I mean, the tree is, I guess, fairly standard for most minion builds. The only other thing is that we're using Eldritch Battery, because it just lets us reserve our whole mana pool, and then the bit of extra shield we get from like our body and all of our other gear just has like a little bit of extra energy shield on it, and that's going to let us just keep resummoning minions without any mana issues. So that's quite nice as well. So anyways, I am going to attempt this. I think this is the hidden. It's all of the Breach Lords, and just show you the bossing potential of this build. The DPS gets very, very high on this build. You can get like north of 40 million DPS in ideal circumstances with like all your buffs up and everything like that. It's probably not the type of DPS I actually have on this character. It's probably closer to like half that. It would be my guess, but it's still very, very good, and you can do most end-game content with it pretty easily. It's not the tankiest build in the world, so I do die occasionally, and the thing to watch out for on fights like this is that if you die, you have to zone it back in, and when you zone back in, you have to resummon all of your weapons, which can be very frustrating during tense boss fights when there's a lot of chaotic stuff happening on the screen. So hopefully that won't happen here, but we'll see. Anyways, check this out. Almost had that, deathless. So now comes the fun part where I have to resummon all 18 of my weapons. Alright, we did it. Died a couple times to that Shock Nova, but worked out in the end. So anyways, that's a quick showcase of the Animate Weapon Golementalist. It is a lot of fun to play. It's definitely an interesting play style that I'm not used to because I don't play that many minion builds in general. So it was a fun switch up from what I'm normally doing. And anyways, thanks for watching.